Hi everybody, this is Cheryl, and I've got a little sewing project, and I thought I'd share it with you. I was going through my mending and came across a pair of cargo pants that the mending that needed to be done on it was so much I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I decided to cut the pants apart. And some of the fabric that I got out of the cargo pants will be used for char cloth, the smaller pieces. Some of it will be saved for use them for patches or quilting or any number of projects. But on the legs they had these pockets. So what I did was I just took each leg and I just cut straight across. Just above and below the pocket, I left about an inch or so, give or take, above and below where the pocket was. Okay, and this one I've already done. I just took and I sewed straight across the leg to make to sew up the bottom of what will eventually be a little bag. And so I just sewed straight across, okay, to close it up. Now, there's any number of ways that I can finish this to make it into a usable little bag. You can use a zipper. You could install a zipper on the top. You could do Velcro, buttons, or you could just tuck it under and kind of hem it, and just tuck under all the way around and hem it and just leave it open, and then attach some kind of a handle to it. I'm not sure yet how we're going to finish these. We're going to go through our fabric, kind of decide what we want to do and then go from there. But anyway, I'm going to kind of show you here. Let me see if I can put this down low enough that you can see what I'm doing. So here's the other one. All right, and there you see inside there is the pocket. Let's see if I can get that up there a little better. But you can see the pocket there. All right, and you want to make sure that the pocket is at the top and that you're working at the bottom, okay? And what you want to do is you want to line up the seams, okay? And you line up the seams like this, okay? And that will center your pocket. Line up the seams like that. And I'm going to put my clips on here to hold it in place. I can get them going. And you want to kind of keep the edges of the fabric, even. If you cut it straight across with it like this and cut it, then your fabric should be pretty even. So I'm just going to slide my clips on here real quick to kind of hold it in place so that, it makes it easier to sew if you have the rest of your fabric steady. All right. Now when you're hand sewing something like this, the secret to this is to keep your stitches as small as possible, as close together that you can get it, and as even as possible. Back in the day when they made their own clothes, the women took pride in how small and close together their stitches were, because the tighter, the closer together they were, the smaller they were, the better your finished seam was. So when you're doing this, you want to keep your stitches as close together, and I'm hoping I'm going the right direction. You can see what I'm doing. You want to keep your stitches as close together as you can get them. Okay, see how close that is? Okay, so I've got that started here. Okay, so I'll try to just kind of keep your stitches as close and as small as possible. The smaller they are, the more stitches you can get per inch, and the tighter your seam will be. If you don't have your seam, if they're not close together and tight and small, then your seam is going to have a lot of gaps in it. So there you go. You can see there. Just kind of keep them small and close together. Okay. Just like that. Okay. There you go. Now when you're doing something like this, for khakis, these khakis, this is pretty heavyweight fabric, so I've got a good size needle here. It's a pretty good thick size needle, and I've doubled my thread, so it's just doubled over, because you want a good sturdy thread and a good sturdy needle. And to show you on this one, you see when you have them tight together, then you've got a pretty good seam. Now this is a really rough seam. I did not worry too much about how close it was together, but you see when you pull that apart, you can see how that's pretty tight, pretty tight seam. Okay, and especially when you're doing something with a bag, you want to make sure that that's a good solid seam there, because if you don't, then it's gonna come out. Now what I do is I go all the way across doing this, and then when I come back, I will come back and do another seam, but I will go in between my seams. So it would go down here, okay, and then I would come up here, and I would go back down here and come up here, okay, and go in between. And that way you actually have a different entry at all these points, and that will make your seam even tighter. Okay, so there you go. There's a little project for using pair of pants that we couldn't fix anymore. They were just beyond fixing, but I'm going to get multiple uses out of it. One with the little bags, and then the patch material, char cloth, and maybe even a few quilting squares. All right, so I wanted to share that with you. You all have a nice day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.